let's get started. First, some general comments about the work in the book so far. Been happy with everything that you're doing. So just a couple things, I'll just say this. About colors. When you put in colors that are extremely close to one another and say, these are my interface colors, I'm just going to give you a little warning about that. I think you should probably, in general, avoid colors that are really close to one another. Let's say, nobody did this, but let's say you pick pink and hot pink, or pink and just an off purple pink, and they're extremely close to each other in color, value, and contrast, etc. But you want both. Here's the danger of it. Let's say you put one icon, you decide to put your icons in pink against black. And the top one is in pink, then the next one is the off pink, and the next one's pink, pink, pink. The one that's going to be slightly off is going to appear accidentally as a mistake, not a choice. Now, there's ways around it where you could, establish it with gradients or something like that, or maybe as you roll over the icons, they change to the different color, and that subtle change would be acceptable. But in general, we try to avoid two colors that are super close to each other. Like I wouldn't go with an orange and a yellow orange or something like that. So you might want to simplify your color range if your book has something like that. And then one other note about colors in general, of course, is your contrast. Now, sometimes it's difficult because you want to stay on brand. I think SVSU is a great example of the problem with contrasting brand colors. For example, if you took SVSU blue and you made it your background, and then you put type and you made it SVSU red and you put it on top, you would have a contrast problem because the red and blue are so similar in chroma, color value in particular. So your color value, in other words, let's say you do put red type over blue. Let's take a screenshot of that, take it into Photoshop, turn it into grayscale, and you're going to find that, yeah, there's a little difference. They're both grays, and they're slightly different, but they're so close to one another that if you're colorblind, you wouldn't really be able to distinguish those from one another. So, and there's even more sophisticated ways you could test your interface or design. There's online websites where you could have your screen turned into what it would be viewed like with someone with this type of color blindness and this type of color blindness, etc. So that's not a bad idea. But in general, if you have really good contrast, you're going to avoid those problems. Now, you might look at it and go, well, red is a warm color, it comes forward, and blue is a cold color, it goes back. And you're correct, it's the color value is just off, so you can't pull that off. All right. One thing I do need to share the screen for, I'm going to share with you a resource that I think would be helpful. And that is Snazzy Maps. It's a cheesy name. Oh, great. Okay, I'm going to have to go, since my browser's not working, I'm going to have to go to a different browser and go to Snazzy Maps here. I think it's snazzymaps.com. Yeah, 2 Z's. Why do I want to share this with you? Because it's a resource for those of you who want custom maps for your navigation screens. And this is a way where you could build a map. In other words, you could plug in a location, and then you could actually choose the colors of the roads, the colors of the background, the colors of water, all that stuff, colors of your type. and you could type in your hex numbers from your color system, and voila, whatever part of the country you choose, we could make it into that color system. And there's all kinds of different interfaces. So all these different ways. You could look and find one that's close to yours. I think it'd be easier just to build one from scratch myself, but okay, I wanted you to know about that. All right, now I'm stuck with Firefox not exactly working, and I can't even hide Opera. Okay. Oh, heavens. All right, well, you remember from last week, I just want to point out a few things from the reading. And you remember, it's all about Tesla Model 3. And what's interesting to me about this article is, yes, it reveals Tesla's vision for the future, but strangely enough, that vision hasn't changed. And I call it strangely because they haven't achieved it. This concept of a self-driving car that Elon keeps saying, oh, it's a year away, it just hasn't come. Now, maybe AI somehow would be smart enough to figure that out. I don't know. But they're still aiming for this self-driving car. And I think that's probably the most dangerous job in the U.S. is to be a test pilot, I don't know, to be the person behind the wheel of a self-driving car. And my reasoning is, you are going to get bored out of your brains after about 2 hours of just sitting there waiting for the car to make a mistake. And after 2 weeks of the car not making any mistake, you're going to focus more on music or an audio book or, heaven forbid, a TV or video show. And you're not going to pay attention anymore. You're going to say, car, you drive me. That would be the hardest job, is just waiting for the dumb thing to make a mistake. Do I believe self-driving cars will happen? Yeah, probably will. But the in-between state, the waiting for that, is probably the most dangerous thing we could have. Where eventually the machine, the computer's going to screw up and crash or make a major error, and you got to catch it. But it's going to be so hard to focus on while you're waiting for hours for something to make a mistake. So it would be a very difficult task to actually stay focused as a driver. So I guess that's my overall comment related to this Tesla's vision for the future. All right. I think you'll find that the next one is an interesting one. I think you'll find it an overview, the next reading assignment, Why UX is Booming in the Automotive Industry. You'll be excited to know that that's your last summary, as it'll be for week 6. We do have a week 7, but I don't have a reading assignment or summary due then. Man, I cannot even get the screen to change or anything. How do I do this with the computer? I do not want to waste anyone's time. The computer is not working. Could I really come here and do this? ssu.edu/avjohns1/ This is a test of my memory. capital A. How annoying. All right. Okay, so again, I think you'll find this article a good review. We'll talk about the dashboard and the history, and then about, technology and how it eventually was added to the automotive interface. For your booklets for next week, we want to do more secondary screens, and we want to have a statement about secondary screens. So just give it a title. Secondary screens will be fine. And, write about those, show more. And then a conclusion. Remember, when you write your conclusion, you gotta hint that software is never done. Think about Facebook. Are they done with making Facebook? No, it's going to keep going. I don't know what version they're on right now, but it's definitely multiple versions. That's the same with whatever you design as a designer for software. Even if it's for automotive interface, there's probably going to be another version in a few years to update this, that bug, or something like that. So your conclusion is not saying, I have done the research and I've done the design and everything's great and I'm completed. Your conclusion is, up to this point, based on the market research, our usability studies, we have come to the conclusion of, to reach goals A, B, and C, we have done that, and this is a working system related to that. So that's the kind of conclusion you need to write. So don't say the project's done and over. And I need to stop and check to see who's here every once in a while. Okay. Okay, then we build more screens. And most importantly, at the end of week 6, you're going to have another usability study. So this is your second usability study. Obviously, it's going to be on your high fidelity prototype. If you have all the screens, but you don't have a working prototype, you're not going to pass the class. So it's a very important thing that you have this high fidelity prototype. I bring this up because I'm still concerned, because there's one, maybe two people that haven't ever shared with me the link to their low fidelity one, which makes me worried that they never made a high fidelity one. And if you look at the syllabus for the class, even right, it's in here. It's like, if this thing isn't in, I don't know where it is, but it's a required element. If you don't turn it in, it's not, you don't pass the class. So I'm a little worried about that. All right. So do your second usability study. Use the exact same questions as you did before. The link's right here. Same questions as last time. I would run through it several times, reading to myself the questions and seeing if I could click through the interface and if I have enough screens before I did this study. And so our goal is to have 20 screens done by then, and we definitely need every screen necessary to do the usability study. All right, then why do I have you do the usability study at the end of week 6 and not the end of week 7? Because I want you to use the results of the study to improve your interface for week 7. So if you have a major flaw and you didn't recognize it, but your tester did, then you can fix it, and it's going to make your portfolio piece much, much better. It's going to make your interface much, much better. So that's where we're at. If you look, we'll take a peek all the way to week 7, so reading assignment. And in the booklet, It's really just, do you have a complete book? And if you want to know what a complete book is, you can download the checklist, or you can go through all of these things right here. Everything needs to be in your book. And then your mock-up needs to be functioning and working. You need to share with me a link to that. Some of you have already. Thank you. And then we basically have roughly 20 screens. And you can see with all that, you're going to have a rock-solid piece for your portfolio. All right. So what do you think about that? I think it's a great thing, because I don't know many schools, universities teaching automotive user interface. So it's pretty cool that I think you have the chance to diversify your portfolio so much, to not only have like an app design class from the UI interface class, but you can also have this, the automotive interface. All right. Well, the enthusiasm is radiating from you. I feel it. I know it's there. Keep up the good work. If you have questions, please email me. I'll try to get to those things today that you've just sent me recently. Thank you.